Yo, it's Dave, yes I left Cali behind. The Dave Not in Cali show, one of a kind. Sundays, 5 p.m. Central, truth you can. That's for more real people, real talk, tune in, we'll explore.
Yeah, well, I'm Dave Not in Cali, in case you didn't know it, but I'm pretty sure you did. Anyway, a real quick advertisement, this up here. This is the telephone number to our call-in show that we do every Sunday. So I'm just throwing that up there. I'll leave it up there on all the other videos, and hopefully we can get some traction, get some people who are brave enough to, text their name in and come on to our show on Sunday. And if you watch the show on Sunday, we talk about anything and everything. But what we'd like to do is turn it into something that you want to talk about. Anyway, back to the subject. Today I'm talking about Minnesota and that phenomenon. Nick Shirley seemed like he came out of nowhere, but actually he's a YouTuber, about 23-year-old YouTuber. And what actually happened is just the right two people got together. Now, when I say that, this guy named David Hoch has been a long-time activist. He's lived in Minnesota all his life, knows all about what's going on and so forth. But, sometimes you just don't get the traction. Well, I'm sure Nick said, well, hey, let's put you on YouTube. Let's do a thing. And so they teamed up, and for the videos that are going viral, you've probably already seen them where they're going around to all the daycare centers and knocking on doors and checking out and seeing what vehicles are driving and where's all the kids and all that. But this is a little piece that Nick put together that David's able to talk to him, and they kind of throw questions and answers back and forth a little bit. So it kind of, give you a better idea of what they've been up to and what they're doing. So let me add this.
Fraud happening here in Minnesota. You've been living here for years now. How bad is this fraud?
So I was born in Minneapolis a long time ago. I've lived my whole life here. And my opinion is that this is the worst fraud in human history. What is occurring in Minnesota and more specifically in the Twin Cities right now.
How much money do you think has been sent around fraudulently here inside Minnesota?
Over the years, I would say anywhere from 80 to $100 billion.
And right now the big controversy is with Tim Walz and his government and the fraud that they've allowed to happen within the Somalian community. Right behind us is Cedar Riverside, a location where it is very densely populated with Somalians. How have Somalians gotten into the system to fraud the American taxpayer?
Well, so that complex you're seeing behind there, I attended the University of Minnesota, and in the area we're on right now, this is the West Bank, and it was always called the West Bank, and it was sort of the place to be when you're in college, and that was all student housing, 100%. That building you see in the background, it's now 100% Somali. And I can tell you confidently, they don't pay for their housing, they don't pay for their food, they don't pay for their vehicles, and on top of that, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fraudulent companies set up, and they're sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota.
And how are they sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota?
Well, one example would be with the hundreds of child care facilities that they have set up, and on every one that I visited, and I've been to maybe 100 of them or more, I never, ever have seen one child at any facilities ever over the past 7 years, 8 years.
What are the businesses that are being used to fraud the taxpayer here in Minnesota? You have the daycares. What are all of them?
So you have, you have child care, you have adult daycare, you have in-home health care, you have straight health care, and nobody really knows how that's defined. And then you have transportation, non-emergency medical transportation. And if you do a search, you'll see that the state of Minnesota says they have 1,020 non-emergency medical transportation companies, and my research is showing that 95% of those are Somali owned. And what I know is...
So in other words, if you're if you're looking for some non-emergency transportation in Minnesota, you have about 1,000 companies to choose from. The problem is you may not be able to get a ride from any of them because they're running around using it for their own personal transportation. And it's too hard to work for the money. It's better just to take the money and continue on with your life. So anyway, I just had to throw that in there.
That the people writing the checks at the state of Minnesota never, ever, ever verify that any trip was ever made or that any appointment was ever made with a dentist, chiropractor, or anything.
So anyway, if you live up in Minnesota, and you're looking for daycare, there's a whole bunch. They don't have very many that have actual kids in it. So that might be a problem for you. So remember to like, share, subscribe, be brave, and try texting name and come in on our show. And we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. If it's something everybody's interested in, hey, we'll roll with it. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.